Hello and welcome to another episode of In Conversation with by Kangaroo Minds. I'm Vedika and today we have with us Shreyas Porus Pardiwalla. Shreyas wears many hats, which include being an actor with several films under his name. He is also a theatre performer, director, scriptwriter, a model, and last but not the least, a clinical psychologist. Our conversation today centers around a topic which we need to talk more about, but it is slowly gaining traction, which is men's mental health and toxic masculinity. So, without taking much time, let's dive in to hear more from Shreyas.
I thank you so very much for having me. And I'd like to start off by saying God bless one and all. I wish everybody all the very best. Generally, people end with this statement, but I feel that there is never an end. Everything is always constant. So let's start off only with the blessings of the divine, and let's have an amazing session.
Absolutely. So, Shreyas, to kick it off, what do you think are like some unique challenges which men face when it comes to their mental health?
This is a very important question because mental health in today's day and age has become such a spoken about topic. And having said that, there are several individuals who truly feel for mental health and they speak about it. And then there are some people who just for sheer mockery, who just for sheer name and fame feel that they too can tamper with mental health, indulge in it, and overnight they will become counselors. And that causes a lot of trust issues, you see. And men, as I believe a species, um, they are very gullible. Men, I really feel women have this particular sixth sense which we men do lack. A lot of the times I hear people say, trust the woman of the house because she knows what is best for her home, her men, her children, her women, all of that. And that is so very true because we as men become so gullible. And when you have mental health individuals who are not proficient enough, who do not have that particular skill set, they misguide, mislead men, and then trust issues happen. Having said that, at the same time, I really feel society as a whole has not been is not very accepting to the fact that you can have a weak man. You see, unfortunately, the terminology mental health is very synonymous, unfortunately, as I say again, unfortunately, with open inverted commas, it's synonymous to the term weakness. So people always attribute mental health to weakness, and man doesn't want to be weak because man is expected to be macho, he's expected to be masculine, he's expected to have the typical dole sholes and come and enter into a room with a certain bravado. And if he has mental problems, if he cries, if he's feeble, if he's weak, if he's emotional, then he's effeminate. He's feminine. He becomes girly. He becomes a pansy. The reason why I'm doing this to certain words is because there's so much stigma attached to those words, and they actually become derogatory in a sense when you call somebody effeminate, feminine, pansy. People take offense to the terms, and it's so sad that people have started. I think the word effeminate it comes from the term feminine. And when you call a man effeminate, you're calling him feminine, and he's finding that derogatory because it is a stigma upon his manhood. So he starts hating feminine or anything to do with the female overall. And then he starts lambasting this entire female driven society. And then this entire gender war happens. So do you realize that a man is not able to be emotional? He's not able to express because that all is feminine. And then he starts hating being called feminine. So by default, he will have an anti-female kind of outlook to life, which will just ruin things. And I really feel that these are one of the very serious drawbacks in this entire umbrella we talk about called mental health, which really need to be answered, need to be discussed, because because very, very often, if you realize, when you speak about humanity, you speak about kindness, you speak
Right.
about being gentle, you speak about being understanding, you speak about being accepting, being expressive. That is called being human. But if all of that a man is, then he is effeminate. But all of that is also called being human. So
Right.
then we start labeling man as a beast because he cannot be human, because he does not want to be effeminate. And then comes an entire matter of choice. So I choose to express, so I choose to be effeminate. That is exactly how the psyche works. And if I don't choose to be effeminate, or I don't, then I cannot choose to be kind, so then I cannot choose to be a human. So I have to be this macho, manly beast. And that is where everything becomes a complete blunder. Because from that seed of thought, so much more hatred, violence, negativity, atrocities occur.
Right. So I think you made quite a few points, in terms of like how accepting we are of men's mental health, and somewhere where our notions of humanity, feminism, being effeminate sort of take an impact on men's mental health. So, in terms of the notion that, that men find it harder to open up about their mental health, do you think it's true? And, if so, why do you think, there is that notion?
Very, very, very true. That it is very, you're very correct that when you say that, excuse me, when you say that men find it very difficult to open up about their mental health, one of the main reasons is, as I mentioned earlier, is because people label weakness with mental health, and man does not want to be called weak. Having said that, if you realize in our psychology field, in Mumbai especially, how many male psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors do you find as compared to females?
Right.
And a man going to a man is something he will find a little more comfortable, because he feels that there are certain areas in his life which only another man will understand. Same how women feel certain areas of their lives only a woman would understand. But having said that, the amount of men to go to are also, limited. And then this entire image issue comes. If I go to him and I talk about my weakness, will he be the alpha in the conversation? Number one. Number two, if I go to her and I talk to her about my weakness, will she have an upper hand? Will she be an alpha? Will she look at me as a weak, feeble human being, individual man? Will the word spread? Will family get to know? How will I look in society? And at the same time, this constant self beating as to how can I be weak? I have to support my family. I have to support the women of my house, and the women are the weaker folk. So I need to look after the weaker folk. So how can I be weak? This entire conspiracy goes on in the mind of the individual, and it truly, truly deteriorates day by day by day his mental health. And worse coming to worse is he fears to seek that guidance, that assistance, that help.
Right.
Um, if I may take 2 more minutes and talk about the same thing, I have an
Absolutely.
analogy which I give a lot of my clients when they come to me. Let's talk, Vedika. When you have a cold, what do you do? A simple cold, what do you do?
Yeah, you would either, take something, or you would either use a home remedy or go and see a doctor, speak to a doctor. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You hit the nail in the coffin. You started off by saying taking home remedies. So that's very, very true. The first thing you'll do is your mother will say, garam pani pio, gargle with salt water to open up your throat and your nasal cavity, take steam, drink turmeric water, ginger tea. You do all these, you tamper with these home remedies so
Right.
as to try and release and remove the cold. Now, if the home remedies do not work, what do? You take an over-the-counter medicine, which only in India is allowed. If you go to a foreign country without a prescription from a doctor, over-the-counter medicines are also generally not given and administered.
Absolutely.
But from where we come, we take an over-the-counter medicine. Now, even if the cold does not go by an over-the-counter crocin, Compiflam, whatever, um, and it starts building into severe cough, phlegm, chest congestion, and you really feel that, oh my God, my chest is super congested. What do you do next? Thereafter, as a last resort, when you know that no home remedy, no over-the-counter medicine can help you, you go to a doctor. You go to a doctor to ask him, are you suffering from pneumonia? Is there a lump? Whatever, etc., etc. Now, if the doctor says that, oh, we have diagnosed pneumonia, thereafter we also find a lump in your chest. So we need to, put you under the knife and conduct a surgery to remove the lump. You have second thoughts, but you readily accept because
Right.
you want to save yourself. Now, the same concept, I want you to marry with the concept I'm going to be giving you of mental health. Let's start off by saying you're not feeling Monday blues, you're not feeling good. You're not feeling good at all. What do? You do home remedies, such as you go onto YouTube, type funny videos, try and change your mindset. Okay, listen to a song, change your mood, talk to some friends, catch up with family members, go for a cup of coffee, go for a walk. Nowadays, people have been very sensible enough to start channelizing their emotions by hitting the gym, doing
Right.
kickboxing, doing yoga to release that anxiety, depression, stress, whatever. Now, if your Monday blues have become Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday blues, and it's going on for the entire
Yeah.
week, it's prolonging, what do you do thereafter? Thereafter, you try and properly practice a certain meditation. You go to a spiritual guru, a spiritual teacher, a guide, a mentor, and you take these alternate activities and therapies, which people say will help you relieve your stress, anxiety,
Right.
depression, and sadness, which actually technically turns out to be an over the counter medicine, if you see what I'm doing. If still your depression, anxiety, sadness prolongs, and now it's becoming a serious mental issue because it is turning out to be detrimental to you and your entire family, unfortunately, you stop your treatment or therapy out there. You do not take the final step, which is go to a professional doctor to seek assistance. Go to a professional clinician, such as a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a counselor, because for you, it ends at your yoga, your meditation, your sports, your kickboxing, your gymming, your alternate therapy, but you will not take the therapy. Alternate therapy is an alternate therapy to the current therapy. But
Correct.
first, take the current main therapy. Everybody goes for the alternate branches, which go for it, no doubt. But what about the main bark of the tree? How can you forget that? That is what's very important. And now I want to ask you, when you had pneumonia or that severe chest congestion and you knew it wasn't being cured by home remedies or over-the-counter medication, did you end it there? No, you did not. You went to seek superior assistance because you needed that help. You knew it cannot be cured just by all of this. All of this over-the-counter medicine will be administered by the doctor himself. He himself will tell you, okay, now for the next 3-4 months, I want you to do so and so. Home remedies will also be administered and governed once the surgery is performed, because for recuperation and to avoid it to occur again, it is the home remedies and the over-the-counter medicines which will help you. Similarly, in psychology, when there is a mental illness, after the treatment is started and you're coming towards the end of a treatment, and hopefully you are better coming out of this entire mental disorder, anxiety, stress, distress. Thereafter, your counselor, your clinician, your psychiatrist, your psychologist will tell you, go back to your yoga, your meditation, your kickboxing, go back to your listening to music, TED Talks, pep talks, positive affirmations. All this will most certainly be governed and administered and will be given to you. But after you actually visit the doctor, and after the treatment heals you. Why do people look at it as a problem? Is a question I have to ask the outside world. It is a treatment, it is a healing procedure. The problem is we never look at the mind. We look at the mind as completely different from the body. But we need to understand at the end of the day, where is the mind? The mind is not sitting on the chair opposite you. It is
Right.
but in this physical body of yours. It is not tangible, completely understandable, but it is very much a part of this body of yours. It is a part of your home. So why not look after it, take care of it, and go and seek that other assistance which you truly require?
I think, you've given a lot of insight on, why people should seek help. And you've also thrown some light on, how the silence of people and the stigma is sort of contributing to the larger problem of mental health, especially in men.
Absolutely.
So where do you think that, somewhere society is falling back on being accepting of men's mental health? I mean, other than the fact
Mhm.
that, we've associated it with this notion of weakness. But, do you think
You
there's
know,
something we could all do to, encourage that conversation? And why is there this gap, even today, we're in the 21st century, we're still not accepting of, men's mental health. So how can we change that?
I love your question about society because if you realize very often, at least our generation, everything we have done is to fight society. We are
Absolutely.
called the rebellious age. We are. And when we speak to our parents, and we hear our grandparents' stories about our parents, we hear how rebellious they were and how they wanted to fight society, but still succumbed to it somehow or the other. We, on the other hand, and the ones who are coming after us are so, I will not say anti society, but they are so, we will fight society, we will fight stigma, and that is how so much good is actually happening, so much revolution is actually happening in today's day and age. And it is commendable. Having said that, why do we still have to look at what society thinks or feels about us? Now, that is a question mark I need to ask. Where is society lagging? Why is society lagging? Well, society is lagging. Why it is lagging? It is lagging because society is very comfortable in this hierarchy it is living, which is men, women, children. ठीक है, ये जो
Yeah,
hierarchy है हम लोग का, men, women, children, is a hierarchy society has made. You and I have not sat down and made it.
absolutely.
It has been there since, I guess, Adam. Exactly, since Adam. First man was made, then Eve. Adam was made, then Eve was made, then woman was made. So this entire hierarchy is being followed since Adam. And that is the reason we are so comfortable. We're so comfortable. It's so convenient to follow this mode of living, this mode of societal acceptance. Because anything you do not, you do something alag from society. Anything you do alag from society, society shuns you away. And then your entire fight with society is, you know what? But I want to be accepted and come back into that society.
Absolutely.
I'm not I'm not even lying to you. Okay. You look at women's rights. You look at LGBTQ rights. What is that? That is when society shuns the LGBTQA plus plus community, when society shuns women as a whole. What do women do? What do LGBTQ plus plus do? And what do the activists do? They fight for their rights. But where do they fight for their rights? In that same society. I have a question. Why be a part of that society? Create a society of your own where you are the queen, you are the goddess, you are the king, you are the prince. Why fight with some? It's as simple as um if I'm not accepted in a particular place, I will be foolish to keep fighting to get in that particular place. And then I'm doing it just to make a point.
Right.
Rather, leave and create your own kingdom. The problem with mental health and mental health for men is society does not accept it. So what do you and I do? We fight for mental health issue. We fight for men's mental health issue so that this society wakes up. But that's the ultimate joke, right? You cannot wake up a dead man. You can wake up a sleeping man. You can never wake up a dead man. I really feel that society in various aspects is dead. We feel it is in a deep dark slumber, but it is dead. Those who are in a deep dark slumber, you see them waking up and creating new. That is how from society communities are
Right.
formed, because these were individuals who once were sleeping. Now they have awakened, they have arisen, so they form communities. I urge those communities, why go back to the dead? Why go back to an unaccepting society? So this entire question of yours, what can society do better? No, sweetheart. Society cannot do anything better because society is dead in its own way. It wants to die in its darkness, die in its dumb, blind, deaf behavior. Then let it. We as individuals, we as pioneers of men's mental health, and I'm going to say the word men pioneers because I see so many people who take it a little ahead and then they stop out there, they stagnate. Why? Because they want to get comfortable or accepted within the hierarchy of society. But I know that you have been trying to contact me for a very long time to talk about this issue, and I see the fantastic work you and your entire team are doing, and really hats off to you. And I'm going to label you as a pioneer of men's mental health because it's so beautiful that a lady like you has come out here to talk about men's mental health. And salutations and congratulations to you and your entire team. And having said that, I would urge your entire team, you and others like you, to build this brilliant community, but not a community to get fit back into society, because society is not a place to be fit back into. If it has removed you, if it has chucked a topic out, it's because it does not want it. It's like this, right? When you vomit something out, you can't eat the vomit back, can you? You can't. Okay. So if society has not accepted you, why are you fighting to find space and place in that society? We look at the world as society. If you want to find place in the world, bingo, go for it. But the world is not society. So don't go and
Okay.
look for a place in society. So to all those men out there who truly want to voice out their problems about mental health, for all those brilliant faculty individuals who feel that society is being unjust, unfair. What can we as a society do to help mental health? No, sweetheart. You as a society can do nothing, but you as a community, look at the terminology. Society is still it's so broken, but community is so together. You as a community can come together and do many great things. And one of the first things which you can do, one is everybody now this awareness, everybody has awareness. Now no more spreading
Yeah.
awareness regarding the same thing because everyone has awareness. What now we need to do is truly find acceptance. अवेयरनेस
Absolutely.
हो गया है. दूसरा स्टेप है एक्सेप्टेंस. अभी हम किस प्रकार मेंस मेंटल हेल्थ को एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, इस पे हमें गौर देना चाहिए. We need to focus on that. We need to see to it that individuals come together, talk about their problems, not to spread awareness, but to now accept and make others also accept that it is okay to cry. Men don't cry, no. Men cry. Men are allowed to cry. Men are allowed to emote. this entire concept of pink is for girls, blue is for boys, that is the most shitty concept I've ever come across, because colors have not chosen gender, neither has gender chosen a color. It is us as society who have put colors. I see so many women who look lip smacking in blue and so many men who look brilliant in pink. Then what is the problem? Why have this distinction? Why say picking up weights is manly and crying is feminine? Why have that? I know a beautiful couple on their wedding day. The man had gone for a facial and the lady had gone to the gym to like, give that last a dumbbell push. I know this couple very closely, and it's really beautiful. It's very hilarious because I myself went to the men's salon to get a lovely beard trim for that wedding, and I found the groom out there only, and I'm like, voila. And I asked him, "Where's your bride?" And he said she's in the gym, and that just shows progress. And that is not progressive society; it's progressive you as an individual.
No, I think, thank you, Shreyas, for taking our time for doing this conversation, because, I know you've been a very active voice in this space. And the hope is that, one day we're not going to talk about things like, men's mental health and women's mental health and child mental health, but we're going to talk about mental health as a whole.
Mental health,
And,
yeah,
that should
yeah.
gradually include everybody, and that's how it should be. But, these are like those baby steps, as you said, from awareness to move towards that acceptance phase.
You've said a very beautiful thing. It's not like you don't go around talking about because it's so much in the air today. You don't speak about women's COVID and men's COVID and men's physical health and women's physical health for COVID. No, you talk about COVID and the treatment meted out for COVID. Similarly, you talk about anxiety depression and the treatment meted out for anxiety depression. End of story.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
So,
We fail to look at everybody as a human being. We enjoy classification, and that is our biggest error.
And I think you brought up the point of classification in so many ways, whether it's color, whether it's, your orientation, whether it's your gender. We've just, we've tried to compartmentalize everything, and somewhere we just take on those labels that, society has attached to us. So, I mean, you mentioned the COVID, and I want to come to one aspect of the COVID, which is we've all spoken about COVID and mental health. We've spoken about, the impact that it's had on so many aspects of our life. But one thing I want to ask you specifically is, the pressure on men in terms of their mental health, which has been unleashed by the pandemic. Because suddenly people have found themselves in situations they are not used to. They may suddenly be the only bread earner. Or it could be, you're at home and you are not used to being at home. Whether it's in terms of whether dysfunctional backgrounds, domestic violence, I mean, all those kinds of issues, or even just contributing to the household in terms of sharing the load. So it has taken a toll on men in so many ways.
That's so damn true. Very, very, very true. Very, very, very true. In fact, I had this one client who came to me with an issue that the client lost their job because of this pandemic and the entire downsizing in companies, and because of losing one's job, the individual couldn't provide much to the family, and there was of course stress as to how will my children eat, how will my spouse eat, but most importantly there was this entire statement of मैं मुंह दिखाने का लायक नहीं रहूंगा because I have lost my job, and how can I as the man of the house lose my job? What will I do next? What will I tell society or the people of society? So yes, it's very, very unfortunate that that coronavirus and this lockdown pandemic has caused severe detrimental effects. People have lost, and not only men, even women for that matter. So many individuals have just lost their jobs. The bread earners of the family are not able to bring the moolah home. So with what do they, burn the chula in their house if they do not earn the moolah? Chula jhalne ke liye aapko moolah to chahiye hi. So
Absolutely.
if they're not able to earn that money, how do they feed their families? That's an entire issue. At the same time, I had a lot of clients coming to me because they did not know what to do with their life. And that is a very, very important thing when you talk about people, especially men, have made their careers their entire life. So
Absolutely.
when the career is taken away from them, they don't know what to do. They genuinely do not know what it is to be a family man. Sunday man is family man. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday half day man is work man. So they are the weekend husbands. They know how to be a weekend husband. They know how to enjoy that one movie, enjoy that one meal, cook that little dish for the child and wife, go shopping. They understand that. They understand that, okay, हाँ ठीक है, साड़ी चाहिए, ये लो swipe card करो.
Yeah.
They understand that. But that's not called being a family man. That's what TV and movies show us what a family man is. It's what TV serials show us what a family man is. It's not what a family man actually is supposed to be. And men do not know what to do with their lives when their career is taken away from them. They do not understand what it means to laugh 24 by 7. They feel that one Sunday of hee hee ha ha family get together is good. They do not feel comfortable in their own bedrooms, in their own living rooms, in their own kitchens. They don't feel comfortable in the place they're supposed to call home, because for them, home is actually a dharamshala where you
Yeah.
travel the entire week, or you're working the entire week, and only you come home for those 7, 8 hours to sleep, and then you freshen up, have a bath, and go back to work. But what if you're made to live in that dharamshala and you're not allowed to step out? It becomes a prison house for you. That's because your house is a house, it's not a home, and your life is not a life worth living. It's a life of wake up, go to work, earn money, come home, go to sleep. Wake up, this is continuous cycle and mundane way of living. And for a man to sit home idle is looked down upon. So when he was made to be idle, there's this constant self-doubt, self-guilt, self-pity, self-apathy, which is causing so many people so much of turmoil mentally. Man has forgotten how to live, and it is this pandemic which showed so many people how to live. In fact, I was so appalled by reading this thing in the newspapers that in China the divorce rates increased because of
Yeah.
the pandemic. I think you have heard of it as well. You must have read this as well. And it was appalling that that कहते हैं ना हिंदी में थोड़ी दूरियां से ही प्यार बढ़ती है. It's taken so literally
Yeah,
that
definitely.
people actually believe that they need to go to work and stay away from each other, and staying together for these long hours is causing them a tumultuous relationship and a problem in their marriage. That was shocking and disgusting to say the least. And that's where I really feel that COVID really threw a lot of light upon mental health, not only because the individual lost his job and did not know what to do, but the individual just not know what to do with his life. And
Yeah.
people do not know how to be human with each other.
No, definitely. And I think, see, one of the things which you very rightly mentioned is that, in a way, and that was the whole point of having this part of the conversation, that for me, like one of the things was that COVID has questioned men in the role that they've accepted. You've accepted that your identity is
Beautifully said.
of, being a bread earner, and this is it. Like, I will go to work very robotically and I will be there to provide for the rest of the family, but the entire burden is on the men. It's almost accepted that, okay, the rest of the family will not work, they will not support you, you have to go out and keep earning. And suddenly when, whether it's COVID, whether it's any kind of crisis which hits men, and it's not just about the COVID, this will continue. It's part of life. I mean, if there's any crisis, for, God's sake, which hits a person, they're not going to know what to do, because we've taken on those labels. We've accepted those gender roles, that this is what men are. And you made another point, and, you being in that industry, you've seen the way media works. You've seen the portrayal that, they put out for men, that, yes, men are going to go out in the morning, and it's like, okay, that weekend you go out, or if, the partner needs something, okay, here's my card, go buy it.
Yeah.
It's, your role is more of an ATM than of a human being. And unfortunately, they've accepted it.
And unfortunately, they've become very comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
And you know what? And I'm not going to blame anybody out here but the men themselves, because they've become comfortable with it, and they feel that, yeah, this is the right way of living, because anything else is not manly, is not perfect. And who are you to define what is perfect or not perfect for society as a whole, or for men as a community as a whole? Because if you realize what your so-called definition of perfection is, it's not even working for you. You do not know how to behave in your life during coronavirus. So,
and not just, as you said, like even being an ATM, so the men have accepted it. So the minute, if someone points that out to you, you don't even realize that this is what you're doing. You're just going with it, that, oh, because I'm a man, I'm supposed to do this. And this also comes back to the concept of toxic masculinity, where, men are supposed to be this, you're supposed to be macho, you're supposed to be strong, men don't cry. And this is something we've been told since the time we're kids, like with boys, that, hey, don't be a cry baby, don't cry like a girl, don't, no, grow up, man up, come on, it's nothing, you don't need to cry over it. So where do you think, toxic masculinity specifically has taken that toll on men, in terms of, the way they express their feelings, the way they acknowledge their own mental health?
I think you've said it. This toxic masculinity, um, the problem with toxic masculinity is it has given the blueprint of how to live life. I will live life like this. If I'm sitting at the table, the waiter will by default come to me. If you and I are going on a coffee date, the waiter himself will come to me and will give me the bill, because I am the man. And that is toxic masculinity. And it's toxic for me. It's even toxic for you. It's not right. There's this entire blueprint of the man has to live in a particular way. The man has to provide in a particular way. The man cannot do this. The man should not do that. The man needs to do this. These compulsions, these yeses and nos and do's and don'ts is what this toxic masculinity has put out there. In fact, there was this phenomenal advertisement for women's rights, but it was somewhere in today's day and age, if you look at it, it was really wrong, because it did give the women's right message, but it gave such a wrong message for men's mental health. It was all about लोग कहते हैं कि लड़के रोते नहीं है, लड़के रोते नहीं है, गलत, आप लड़के लोग को मत सिखाओ कि लड़के रोते नहीं है, आप सिखाओ कि लड़के रुलाते नहीं है. So the man should not make the woman cry, which thumbs up to that. But उसका जो दूसरा भाग है, आपने क्यों काटा एडवर्टाइजमेंट में से, जो है सही आपने कहा, लड़के रुलाते नहीं है. Men should not make others cry. Men should not make women cry. पर ये भी सत्य वचन है, ये भी सच है कि लड़के रो सकते हैं. That men can cry. This is something which I have really been very I really feel a lot about it, about this point, that why can't a man cry ugly? Why does he have to always be like one tear falling down and wipes it off? Why can't he howl, scream, screech get upset, go crazy. And do you realize where they show men doing all of this? On television, on reality shows. On reality shows, they when actors and artists perform in this crazy way, they're labeled as
Yeah.
entertainers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fools, jokers. And that's again so toxic in nature, because then you're showing a man that if you do like this, you become like this, or you're labeled like this, you know? So that's what is really, really wrong. And I really feel that toxic masculinity has set a blueprint as to the way we need to live life. The man needs to go and, like, for example, just a very, very small example. I know of so many couples who are not very comfortable with the fact that the man should stay at home and the woman should go and earn. It should be hum dono jayenge. But all these years, the woman has stayed at home. The man has got the bread. Now, if the man says, you earn, you so-called wear the pants, statement also wearing the pants, it's such a
Yeah.
wrong statement. But okay, fine, if we just have to use it for lack of a better terminology, then if the woman is supposed to go and wear the pants and the man is supposed to stay at home, why is it looked down upon? Why is the terminology ghar jamai looked down upon? I can't provide for my wife. I don't have the money. I'm not a bad person. I will take care of the kids. I will potty train them. I will wash the curtains, sweep the floor, do the homework. But why will I be looked down upon? Why will I be called effeminate? Why will I be called henpecked? Why will I be called why will ghar jamai be looked down upon? Why is my question? Why are all these terminologies looked down upon? And at the same breath, why is it so comfortable for a woman must stay at her husband's house? A woman must change her surname. A woman must scrub and sweep the floor. Why? Why can't a man do it? And why should a woman do it? These you can't, you should, it's so wrong. Who has made the women should do this and men can't do this society? And what are we doing? We are trying to break free from society. And then what are we trying to do? Prove a fight and fight with society
Yeah.
to find acceptance where? In that same society. It's so banal, it's so useless, it's so illogical.
No, I think, Shreyas, you made some more valid points there, which is basically coming back to the gender roles which both men and women seemingly have accepted, because, as you said, that whole cycle just keeps reinforcing itself. And as you even mentioned, for instance, like television, reality shows, like if you see a man crying, it is part of his sob story to gain attention. So somewhere
Absolutely.
as such, we always said that, hey, people who talk about mental health are attention seeking. There is this horrible stigma and notion which goes with it. And suddenly, even when you
If
see it on
any
TV,
actor, if any actor says I had depression, oh, तू तो likes और follows के लिए कर रही है.
right.
अरे अरे मतलब,
We've
it's
seen it in recent times
shocking.
on social media where, all kinds of things have been said about people who've spoken about mental health that, this is for attention, you just want to, ride that wave. But I think if people want to be vulnerable, we need to create those kind of, safe spaces for them to be vulnerable. So keeping that whole aspect in mind, where do you think such conversations can play a role in promoting men's mental health and reducing that stigma?
It cannot, it should not, and cannot. Well, I hate these terminologies. Let me start all over again. Um, Trying to promote men's mental health in a workspace, in an office place, it's good. It's very nice. But the problem is these individuals already have a particular mindset. So what do you do? The answer to what do you do is you start from the grassroots level, which is where your children, your schools, men's mental health, or rather mental health for all, needs to be a subject which the ICSC, SSC, HSC, CBSC, IB boards focus upon, because truly and genuinely crop farming and step farming and environmental education, or these moral stories and value education, will not make me a good human being. They will not take me further, because I as a student do not focus upon them. I consider it as a free period. I remember so very clearly the value education class in my school was actually for the most times considered a free period. So many teachers never came for the value education class.
Right.
It was considered a period of just leave school early or whatever, enjoy, play water fight, throw bottles at the fan in class, scream, shout, play hangman, do nonsense in class. But if I invest the same amount of time, that one period per week, if I administer to mental health, men's mental health, men can cry, boys can express, then I will be bringing up, or I will be flowering buds with so much more integrity. Individuals who understand humanity in every way possible, individuals who have that seed of sympathy come empathy, which
Right.
so many people are lacking. Because in today's day and age, it's a very typical thing. You see two boys fight, one boy slaps the other boy starts crying. The first thing the person calls him is a pansy, or
100%.
girlish, or
Unfortunately,
girly.
yes.
Unfortunate. And you know where it starts from? It starts from home. If the mother hits the son, or the father hits the son, or the grandparents hit the son, or the eldest sibling, be it girl or boy, hits the son, the younger brother, and the brother starts crying, the first thing is said is, don't cry like a
Girl.
girl. Don't act like a girl. Be strong. Take it in your stride. So what if you fall down the bicycle, dust it off and come back? Sure, I completely get that point of dust it off and come back and come on, enjoy, be sporty. But there is a very thin line between be sporty and don't do like this, girls like this. You need to be a proper sportsman. You
Yeah.
know, all of this is where men's mental health plays a vital role. You need to educate your child, even women, even girls, they need to be told, just as you have all the right to cry and express, so does a boy. So if a girl writes a story or a blog or a post on Facebook and she is applauded for it, if a boy writes a post on Facebook, he writes a certain story about himself, he also needs to be treated with sensitivity. It does not make him, uh, it does not necessarily need to make him gay. It does not necessarily need to make him effeminate. He can just be as heterosexual as another boy expressing himself. Because then, if you realize it's so wrong, you start looking at the LGBT community as a weak
Mhm.
community, a community which cries, only, has a sob story. No, in fact, they are by far one of the strongest community individuals I have ever come across, to come out of the closet and state their truth in a society which is so judgmental. Hats off to the entire community. So the community is crying, speaking about their truth. It does not make them weak, it makes them strong. We need to stop attributing tears to weakness.
So I think, you shared a lot of like a whole range of insights. We've spoken about, taking it beyond men's mental health. We've spoken about women. We've spoken about gender, toxic masculinity. So signing off, I'm going to ask you one question, which is that if you could give one piece of advice to anybody right now who's watching this, hearing this, who is having a hard time with their mental health, what would that be?
Well, the only advice I would like to give all of y'all is that someone is out there for you. Do not consider yourself to be alone. You are not alone. I myself have gone through my share of crap. Vedika herself has gone through her share of crap. We still go through our share of breakdowns, anxiety, depression, sadness. You are human. Feeling all of this is feeling and being human. Stop categorizing, stop blocking, stop judging yourself. express, express, express. If people are not physically there to hear you, then go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on a blog, write about yourself, state your story, state your truth. Somebody out there will have a similar story and they will share your pain. Stop thinking that you are alone in this world and nobody's there to support you. Because the minute you think that, you are actually losing that courage from within and you yourself are not supporting yourself. We are a community. Stop trying to fit back into society. If society has removed you, thank and praise the Lord. For now, you are free from the clutches of society. You can form and build your own community. Love. Spread love. I personally feel love is a language, is a music, is an art which people feel they have and they only can display. But the truth is, you need to invest a lot in it. So invest in love. Speak that language. Have faith. It's a very beautiful healing energy and healing power. Sit people down, talk to people, understand, communicate. A lot of the suicides that happen in the country is because of lack of communication, which stems from a thought of I am alone, which stems from a thought of nobody is there to listen to me, which stems from a thought of I will be judged. To hell with the fact that you will be judged. You are anyway out of the society. You're building yourself a community. Stop thinking that no one is there to hear you because you are not alone. There are many people like you. And last but not the least, communicate, spread that love, state your truth, and help yourself. Because just like you, there are several others without a voice. If you have even 1% of a voice, use it, because you using your voice will be able to help so many others out there who don't have any hope or any chance.
No, thank you for that, Shreyas, and of course for taking out time for having this conversation and for being such a wonderful advocate for mental health. Your experiences, your advice, I'm sure are going to be very helpful for all our viewers who are watching this and tuning in. And as a parting word from us, to anybody watching this, I mean, if at any point you feel that you're struggling with your mental health, or you feel out of it, you feel blue, please reach out. Know that there is help available. Things do get better and you deserve to feel better. So give yourself that permission to heal and reach out. There will be somebody who will be there to listen. It could be someone you know, it could be a mental health professional. Just turn to someone and know that you will be better. And in the meanwhile, please like, subscribe, share our content forward with anyone who you think will benefit. And till next time, stay well and stay healthy. Thank you.